country music, I think
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't do it, even though I can't sing.
You would not sing?
No, I would not. I would not normalize him. And she says, I love our country. How do you love your country and support and normalize somebody who was a convicted felon who really wants to destroy the country, in my opinion? I don't understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon, which I can say now every day.
A lot of my family voted for Trump. They love the country and vote for him. I think that people make these decisions for a lot of reasons.
Okay, fine. And I would not be the person to say don't do it, because I believe in free speech and everything about it. I personally would not do it. No one's asked me, but that's another story.
I would love for you to do a roast at the Trump inauguration.
When Carrie Underwood took the stage, she had no idea it would lead to a full-blown legal war. But here we are, one of country music's biggest icons locked in a fierce battle with daytime television's most infamous talk show. It all started with a single decision: Carrie Underwood agreeing to perform at Donald Trump's presidential inauguration on January 20th, 2025.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies.
To some, it was a patriotic moment, a chance to unify a divided country through music. But to others, it was an endorsement of a presidency they found deeply controversial. Almost overnight, her name was at the center of a heated debate. Social media erupted, with one side praising her courage, while the other accused her of aligning with Trump's values. News outlets ran with the story, analyzing every angle, and longtime fans found themselves caught in a whirlwind of arguments over whether this was a bold stand or a career misstep.
Well, that wasn't good enough for the tolerant left, of course, who is outraged over Carrie being outed as MAGA. X is blowing up with jokes about how she should sing her hit song Before He Cheats. Some are calling for her to be boycotted and canceled. John Rich weighed in, saying there are several top-tier country artists who support Trump, and I wish they'd finally have the balls to come forward and be counted. Ain't nothing outlaw about keeping your mouth shut to appease the record label. Carrie Underwood is making you look like a bunch of sissy boys.
Controversy escalated when The View's Sunny Hostin openly questioned Underwood's patriotism, stating, "How do you love your country and support and normalize somebody who was a convicted felon who really wants to destroy the country, in my opinion?" The remarks sparked even more outrage, with some defending Hostin's words as fair criticism, while others saw it as a direct attack on Underwood's character. In response, Underwood filed a defamation lawsuit against Hostin and The View, alleging that their comments damaged her reputation and career. The legal battle has ignited discussions about free speech, the responsibilities of public figures, and the impact of media commentary on individual lives. During a heated segment, The View's panel, led by Sunny Hostin, went all in. They scrutinized Carrie Underwood's decision, casting doubt on her patriotism, and suggesting that she was aligning herself with something far more dangerous than just a performance.
Carrie Underwood has spent most of her career avoiding political talk, but she's set to perform at the upcoming inauguration. She said in a statement that she's doing it because the country must come together in the spirit of unity and look to the future. And lots of her fans aren't thrilled about it, but lots of her fans are.
The discussion quickly became intense, with Hostin and others implying that Underwood's choice was more than just about music. It was a statement, one that couldn't be ignored. That comment landed like a bombshell. Within hours, clips of the discussion were everywhere. The internet split into factions, some defending The View, insisting they were simply expressing their opinions, while others saw it as a calculated move to tear down Underwood's reputation. The debate only grew louder as mainstream media picked up the story. Headlines dissected every word, social media feeds were flooded with reactions. It was about what it meant to publicly support the wrong person. Fans argued over whether Underwood had been unfairly targeted, while critics insisted that public figures should be held accountable for their choices. But just when it seemed like the controversy was reaching its peak, Underwood made a move that no one saw coming. Most celebrities in Carrie's position would have done one of two things: either issue a carefully worded statement or lay low until the storm passed. But Carrie Underwood? She took it to court. In a move that sent shockwaves through the industry, she filed a defamation lawsuit against The View, arguing that their statements weren't just harsh, they were damaging and outright false.
I don't think so, but then you pushed her and she said, yeah, I guess I am.
Well, I said to her, do you believe that women should make the same amount of money as men? Well, I guess I am a feminist.
Yeah, and she said, I guess I am a feminist. So I think people feel pretty strongly about it. I think art is art, and you know, you have a right to perform where you want to perform. I agree with you, Joy. I can't sing a lick, but I certainly, and I have not been asked, but if I were asked, it would be a hard no.
Well, they wouldn't ask me, so I have no...
Right, yeah. We're not asking any of them.
What had started as a fiery debate on television was now a legal battle with real consequences. According to her legal team, the show's remarks went beyond personal opinions. They claimed that Hostin's comments painted Underwood as someone who supported extremism, which not only tarnished her image but also threatened her relationships with sponsors, business partners, and even fellow artists. The lawsuit alleged that The View had acted recklessly, prioritizing controversy over truth, and that their words had directly harmed Underwood's ability to work in the industry. Hollywood had seen plenty of celebrity feuds, but lawsuits against major talk shows, that was rare, and the reaction was instant. Media outlets scrambled to cover the legal drama, with analysts debating whether Underwood had a legitimate case or if this was a high-profile attempt to push back against cancel culture. Meanwhile, fans, industry insiders, and legal experts weighed in. Some saw Underwood's lawsuit as a necessary stand against media overreach, arguing that public figures shouldn't have to tolerate damaging falsehoods under the guise of commentary.
That she's doing it because the country must come together in the spirit of unity and look to the future. And lots of her fans aren't thrilled about it, but lots of her fans are. So let's put this in perspective here. What do y'all think?
I personally hope we're moving beyond the era of politics where we want to cancel people's livelihoods because we don't like their politics. And whether it was the Dixie Chicks for criticizing George Bush, didn't agree with it then, and Carrie Underwood, if you have a problem, you register your complaint by not downloading her songs and not going to her shows.
Right.
But I also think from a business standpoint, it's not a bad decision for Carrie Underwood. 75 million people voted for Trump. Artists tend to skew left-leaning, so she's overnight going to become an icon of MAGA and the American right. She's probably going to make a lot of money off of it. So I get why she did it.
I see.
Others feared this could set a dangerous precedent, where any critical opinion could be met with legal retaliation. News networks, talk shows, and media personalities took notice. If The View could be sued for defamation over on-air opinions, what did that mean for the rest of the industry? Would this open the floodgates for more lawsuits against outspoken media figures? Would talk shows start censoring themselves to avoid legal trouble? Legal experts debated the potential ripple effect. Some argued that the case could reinforce accountability in the media, forcing hosts and pundits to be more careful with their words. Others feared it could have the opposite effect, making networks hesitant to tackle controversial topics at all. Even fellow celebrities were divided. Some stood behind Underwood, calling her lawsuit a necessary stand against media figures who use their platforms to tear people down.
Can you feel the burn?
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't do it, even though I can't sing.
You would not sing?
No, I would not. I would not normalize him. And she says, I love our country. How do you love your country and support and normalize somebody who was a convicted felon who really wants to destroy the country, in my opinion? I don't understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon.
But here's
O'er Purple Mountain majesties.
Others warned that this could set a dangerous precedent, making it harder to challenge powerful figures without fear of retaliation. Social media was flooded with reactions from both sides, with heated debates over whether this was about justice or an attempt to silence criticism. But perhaps the biggest question was, what would The View do next? Would they double down and fight back in court, or would they attempt to settle behind the scenes to avoid a drawn-out legal battle? The show's future and the future of media accountability was suddenly hanging in the balance. Defamation lawsuits aren't easy to win, and Carrie Underwood's legal team knows it. To succeed, they must prove that The View's comments weren't just opinions, but false statements presented as facts.
I agree with you, Joy. I can't sing a lick, but I certainly, and I have not been asked, but if I were asked, it would be a hard no.
Statements that directly harmed Underwood's reputation and career. That's a high bar. Courts typically protect free speech, especially when it comes to public figures, making defamation cases notoriously difficult. If Underwood loses, the backlash could be significant. It might reinforce the idea that celebrities should simply accept media scrutiny as part of the job, and worse, it could make her seem overly sensitive or even discourage other artists from standing up for themselves in similar situations. Losing this case might also embolden talk shows to be even more aggressive, knowing that the legal system is on their side. But if she wins, that's a different story. A victory could reshape how media personalities discuss celebrities, forcing networks and talk show hosts to be more cautious with their words. It could set a new precedent, showing that reckless commentary, no matter how popular the show, comes with real consequences.
I've scheduled a spa day.
I'm not even going to tell you what I'm doing. Don't worry. I'm not telling. No, I'm not talking. I'm not telling. No, because it was always in the books. Who knew this was going to be the day that it chose? Because it's also a very interesting day, right? The 21st.
It's Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can choose to celebrate it how you want. You can honor MLK.
I'm going to honor him and at the
and get a
spa.
spa
At the spa.
treatment.
Well, as long as it's a free country and it holds,
Yes.
I would agree with everybody. It is a free country at the moment.
Well, yeah. You know, but it's up to us to make sure that doesn't start to change.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Well,
that's
we're trying.
Well, we're trying, yes. And it's important not to forget that we have that right. It is up to us.
Yeah.
Now, there are other people performing too, and I don't really even want to bring it up.
As for The View, this isn't their first time facing controversy, but defamation lawsuits. That's a different level of trouble. Over the years, the show has faced backlash for inflammatory remarks, but most of the time, the fallout was limited to social media outrage or a few forced apologies. If this case moves forward, they'll have to decide whether to fight it in court or settle behind closed doors to avoid potential damage to their brand. And that raises an even bigger question. If The View is forced to change the way it operates, will other media platforms follow? It didn't take long for The View to respond. The network released a carefully worded statement, attempting to clarify their remarks. They insisted that their discussion was based on opinion and fair commentary, not an attack on Carrie Underwood. But noticeably, they stopped short of issuing an apology. Behind the scenes, tensions were reportedly high. Legal teams were assessing the risks, PR strategists were working overtime, and producers were scrambling to control the narrative. Some sources claimed that network executives were pressuring The View's panel to tone down their rhetoric moving forward, while others suggested that Sunny Hostin was standing by her comments, unwilling to back down. Meanwhile, rival networks wasted no time capitalizing on the controversy. Conservative outlets framed Underwood's lawsuit as a necessary pushback against biased media, while left-leaning pundits debated whether the lawsuit was an attack on free speech. The coverage was relentless, with talk shows, podcasts, and social media personalities all dissecting every angle of the legal battle. Ratings for The View became unpredictable. Some viewers boycotted the show in solidarity with Underwood, slamming it as yet another example of media overreach. Others, drawn in by the controversy, tuned in just to see how the hosts would respond. The uncertainty surrounding the lawsuit only fueled the drama, turning it into one of the most talked-about media feuds of the year. But with the legal battle still looming, The View was now facing a crucial decision: stick to their stance and fight it out in court, or attempt to settle before the damage got any worse. One thing's for sure, this case is far from over. With high-powered lawyers on both sides and massive public interest, the final outcome could change the way celebrities and the media interact forever. If The View is held accountable, it might force talk shows and news networks to be more cautious with their words. But if Underwood loses, it could send the message that public figures have little recourse when the media takes things too far. So, what do you think? Did The View cross a line, or is Carrie Underwood overreacting? Should celebrities push back against media narratives, or is this just part of the reality of being in the public eye? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because this story isn't over yet. I'll be following this case closely, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time, take care.